Dr. Yerun Kabir. Yes, I should have mentioned this at the beginning. As you already know, 15 minutes have been allocated for each speaker. But if you finish early, there may be a few minutes for discussion right at the end. Otherwise, we'll do the discussion at the end. If you still haven't given your slide, please do so before the presentation or as soon as possible. Maybe we can go to the next one, Bhutan. Professor Quenzan Chenzong, until that is sorted out. Have you already given the slide? And it's ready, is it? Okay, okay, sorry.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. It is my privilege to be here to present our SWOT analysis of Bangladesh about scientific, about advisor, science advisor. Next slide, please. This is the summary of the SWOT analysis. We have a 10 strength, 8 weakness, and 6 opportunity, and threats of also 8. I will, following slides, I will describe a little bit about this. Next slide, please. Strength. Next slide. National Council for Science and Technology established under Parliament. This is the most important strength of our scientific advisor, because it is by Parliamentary Act, we have a Science and Technology National Council. And then a major area, implementation economic, they are identified by science and technology policy. So we have identified the major area which should be implemented through that NCST. And availability intellectual who could have advising or giving advice to the, so we have a very very large amount of advisory position peoples who can give advisor to the government. Well-established research institutes. We have a very renowned research institutes in the country, even international institute like ICT DRB. So to give advice to the government, we have a lot of institutions there. Next slide, please. That all are the strength and high quality research oriented universities. We have a very over 100 universities, and out of that, a few universities very doing very good research, and they have the infrastructure, capability, everything to develop research policy to give them input to the policy. And strong relationship between Ministry of Science and scientific community. Ministry of Science having a lot of institution under government. For example, Bangladesh Council for Science and Industrial Research, Bangladesh Rice Research Institute, like that, who can communicate relationship between industry, and they can get advice from their expert peoples. And the Prime Minister had authority proof by appointment. So this is the most important, that we have a system, Prime Minister can appoint. At present, we have a 6 advisor, but none of there's a science advisor, but other industrial agriculture advisor appointed by Prime Minister. But I don't know, this position is vacant at present. So we have this system for appointing a chief scientific advisor or like that. The government Bangladesh is committed to incorporate science. This government now, present government of our, is very much very science friendly. We say science friendly government because the funding for research for science is increasing a lot for the last 1 decade. So I think this is a very good strength for us. Next slide, please. Weakness. a lack of substantial long-term strategic plan. Although we have a science and technology plan, but that's not very sustainable, and this evaluation monitoring is very weak. So that is our weak point for this policy making policy. And insufficient strategic alignment coordination. Coordination, in our country, like coordination is very weak. We cannot coordinate with the academia, industry, research institute. Like coordination effort is needed, much emphasis. And the lack of knowledge person in important position. This is a bureaucracy. They appointed, for example, science and technology ministry is not having the background of science, and other things, the secretary is not science background. Like this, the position is, it is a little bit political appointment. So, or dumping, especially in science and technology, they're dumping the, they said punishment for a bureaucratic secretary who is not other lucrative is for other ministries. So that's the one very weakness. Improper strategy upon knowledge-based employees, and they are the office having a Ministry of Science and also peoples are not science background, so they are not that much familiar of how scientific evidence or science peoples are working. So that is one another weakness. And proper maintenance unable to require data. Although we have very good universities, institutions, organizations working on science or doing research, but the data maintenance or the availability of when we need a policy matter, we need data. It's very difficult to get this data appropriate time and appropriate way. Next, please. Unavailable policy regulatory framework, infrastructure, modern technology. We have a, there's no framework, a strategy to how to get this information, how to implement this, how to monitor this. So we need more strong frameworks for this, and it's infrastructure for modern technology. We have an institution, but not that much up to date or modern age technology. So we need this also. This is one way to get the policy in science and technology. Unavailability of integrated information dissemination, how to disseminate it to the public, to the scientific community. We don't have any system to disseminate. Sometimes they, it's not out to the public. So make it public or make it, even if scientific community doesn't know what government is doing, what policy is taking place. So that's the another, I think, weakness for our science policy matter. Insufficient committee of political parties to science and technology. That's the main hurdle for making science more visible. Because politicians are not interested in science, they're interested in how to be in power for giving other policy which give them direct benefit. But science is a long-term strategy and planning which is not giving fruit immediately. So this is another weakness. Inadequate evaluation monitoring, as I said, this implementation is a real a difficult part of government. How to implement? There is no procedure or to implement the things, to monitor or to evaluate the impact of science, as previous speaker said about the implementation is a really very great problem, and that's the weakness. Low visibility of Bangladesh. I'm representing here Bangladesh Academy of Science. But as I know, Sri Lanka Academy of Science is very much visible, and government is working with them very closely. But in our country, it's a really very backward condition of that academy. The government is never asked us anything, although we recommended something, and they may implement that or not. Even what is going on, we don't know. And they never collaborate with us. They never ask us to join any discussion like that. This is one of the most difficult part. It is maybe some weakness in our part also, Bangladesh Academy of Science, but we are trying our best. Now our secretary and president is very much active on doing that. The government, that we are an apex body of science and technology. So we want to play a much important role. Thank you. Next slide. Opportunities, a lot of opportunity is still available of the talented pool of human resource technical expert. That is government never used the talented peoples. The committee, we have a committee, National Council of Science and Technology, but that committee is not by scientists or by the expert. Government politically, they think that these people should be in this committee. Okay, so that's another possibly promoting more interchange between we have to public and private. Priority setting is required and funding priority for research, innovative research is required. Next slide, please. Opportunity is there to threat. Okay. In infrequent meeting, there is a science council supposed to be meet at every 6 months, but of 2 years, 3 years, no meeting is there. So that's another very threat to this policy making. Policy instability of country politics, that is our all the countries, same thing. Frequent change in regulation strategy. Political party changes, party government changes, the frequent changes of the policy and dump of previous policy and new policy, new peoples, all the things is going on. And poor leg framework, I said framework is not there. Next slide, please. Yeah, interference or may independent advisor make it. There is no independent advice. They always interference by the government and hidden interest politician. They always their interest serving, but not the country or the science policy. They are not interested on that. Colonial mentality. They are reluctant to have science. They say, what will science will do? This is all economy, all industry, all doing infrastructure like that. Exodus, this is nowadays problem. All the expertise, all the very young, talented people is going outside the country. Next slide, please. This is the conceptual map. We have a science and national council. Under that executive council committees, they are working. There's a 50 members of that executive committee, and from the ministries, secretary, all very few scientists or very few experts in science policy. And network is government department. Only government is with government departments and institute like organization, but not university. I propose that science advisors should be like that. I will discuss that in our group meeting.
Yes, that's right.
Thank you. Thank you very much
for the roadmap.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.